18 hours before I was supposed to walk down the aisle, I found out the man I loved for a year saw me as nothing but a tool and a first-class ticket to buy a green card. His entire family, from his seemingly classy mother to my soon-to-be husband, was laughing at my expense. They called our marriage the green card code, a multi-million-dollar lie. But they forgot one crucial thing. This bride wasn't some naive girl. I'm a ruthless corporate lawyer with the receipts. I had secretly pulled his visa sponsorship just days before the wedding. Watch the moment I used my dazzling wedding dress as armor, turning that $3.2 million Manhattan reception into the most expensive court of justice in history, forcing them to pay for every single lie. If you've ever dealt with betrayal in love or marriage, don't just scroll, hit subscribe, and let's claim justice together. Comment justice to let the world know you stand with the truth. Your support means everything. 18 hours before the courthouse ceremony, I got a text from Ethan, the man I spent a year loving. But the word insisting sent a chill down my spine. Hey babe, my mom's insisting we have dinner tonight. She really wants you there. 7 sharp, okay? The neon lights from the street signs outside my Manhattan apartment window cut across my phone screen. I put the phone down. My eyes were sharp, like the lawyer's scalpel I'd honed for years. I whispered, "It's Diana, isn't it, Ethan?" I sighed. Even after a year, I still dreaded her scrutinizing gaze, always fearing I wasn't good enough for his family. I woke up early. The NYC sky was already gray, foreshadowing the drama. Just 24 hours left until the wedding. On the kitchen counter, our marriage license sat next to the bridesmaid rings and a massive to-do list. Get the flowers, dry clean his suit, finalize the DJ playlist. The scent of fresh coffee mixed with toast and the blare of car horns. I pulled out my laptop and checked an email from Eleanor Wright, the managing partner at a London firm. A 3-year project. 6-figure salary, free housing for 6 months. I zoomed in on the red text. No pregnancy within the first year. Violation results in loss of $250K bonus. I muttered, perfect for putting Diana's baby plans on ice. I video called my mom, Maggie Thompson, in Brooklyn. Mom, I took the London offer. It's my exit strategy. Maggie stopped wiping her hands. Sweetheart, don't ever give up your dream for a man. 3 months ago, Ethan kissed my forehead. I get it, babe. Give it 3 or 4 years. Now I smiled bitterly. Empty promises. My phone lit up. A text from Ethan. Mom is insisting you come to dinner tonight, my love. 10 p.m. You'll make it, right? I stared at the screen. That word, insisting, sounded like a summons. 0 warmth. I took a deep breath, typed fast. Yes, I'll be there at 7. I put the phone down and walked onto my tiny balcony, looking down at the street. A delivery truck stopped at the corner. People rushed by, coffee cups in hand. Everything seemed normal, but inside me, a sharp anxiety was building, like a knife edge. I knew Diana, Ethan's mom, always looked at me as if I were an asset being appraised. In past meetings, her voice was polite but icy. Her eyes scanned every detail, my dress, how I held my fork, like she was building a case file. I always played nice, but every time I left, I'd be silent for an hour, my mind heavy. I called Sam, my best friend. Sam, Diana invited me to dinner again. It's another background check, I swear. Sam's voice was firm. Chill out. Don't let them run the show. Flip the script. You owe them nothing. Sam chewed gum, her voice hoarse. My ex tried to scam a visa. You have evidence. Use it like a scalpel. I gave a small, dark laugh. They don't know I speak fluent Spanish, Sam. If they pull a stunt, I'll make them regret it. Sam replied, Now that's my Chloe. Go get 'em, sis. Sam knew Spanish was my ace in the hole, a card I'd never played with the family. I was also keeping that London email locked down. A 3-year international offer, high salary, free housing for 6 months, but that no pregnancy clause. I planned to wait until after the wedding. The day passed smoothly. I picked up the wedding bouquet, checked the dress, signed the seating cards, and reviewed the DJ's playlist. Earlier that morning, Ethan stood alone in his living room, watching me choose flowers through the window. He mumbled, "She doesn't deserve someone like me." "But Mom," he forced a smile, then texted Diana, "Mom, she's choosing flowers. The plan's still on." He shook his head, clenching his fists, then called Diana. "Mom, is the plan still okay?" His eyes were full of contradiction. That evening, I chose a sleek black dress, gray stilettos, and an elegant low ponytail. Looking in the mirror, I saw a calm woman, not a naive girl or a dramatic fighter, just a 28-year-old lawyer who wanted a real home. The soft bathroom light highlighted my sharp eyes, as if whispering, "You're ready." At 7 p.m. sharp, I rang the bell at the Bennett mansion on the Upper East Side. Harold, Ethan's father, opened the door. Tall, slightly stooped, his gentle smile was a rare breeze in that house. He took my hand lightly. "You're strong, kid. I believe in you." His eyes were warm. He spoke little and was always easy to be around. He led me to the living room, where Diana was waiting. Her hair was up, wearing pale blue silk, diamonds sparkling. Her smile was sharp as a knife. Zero warmth. "Chloe, darling," Diana said, her voice sweet, yet cold. "That dress? It's too flimsy. Aren't you cold?" I replied evenly, "I'm fine, thank you, ma'am. Thanks for having me." Ethan walked out from the kitchen with a salad tray, his smile bright, like a professional actor. "Hey, my love," he said, easing the tension. "Let's eat." We sat down. The white silk tablecloth shimmered under the chandelier. Sliced salmon on porcelain, a small bowl of olives, red wine. I placed my phone next to the olives, hit record, pretending I forgot it when I excused myself to the bathroom. Diana glanced at the phone, frowning for half a second, but Ethan quickly poured wine to shield it. The light clinking of silverware created a rhythmic tension. I stared at the phone. The sound of silverware on the porcelain was a tense, ticking countdown. Diana interrogated me politely, like an FBI background check. "Chloe, when are you and Ethan planning on kids?" I offered a sweet, seemingly innocent smile. "We agreed, ma'am. At least 3 years once my career is solid." "He fully supports it." Ethan nodded stiffly, his hand tightening around his wine glass, his knuckles turning white. He gave Diana a quick nod, smiling, but his hand gripped the glass tightly. "Chloe, I think Mom's right. We should settle down with kids soon, shouldn't we, my love?" His eyes darted to Diana for approval. Harold asked me about my favorite law book, gently shifting the conversation to literature. Ethan told a funny childhood story, making everyone laugh. The dinner seemed smooth, but beneath every word was a sharp line of tension, a string about to snap. When I returned from the restroom, I glanced at the phone. My face was calm, but my heart was racing. I knew everything was recorded. During dessert, Ethan stepped onto the balcony to call the DJ, confirming the first dance song. Harold went to the kitchen for more tea. It was just Diana and me at the table. Diana leaned toward Harold, who had just returned, and whispered in fluent Spanish. Her voice was low but clear, accompanied by a smug smile. "Just marry her, Ethan will get the green card. This girl is just a tool. She doesn't know anything. Don't forget the green card code in the prenup." I looked down, my innocent smile fixed. I whispered to myself, "A tool? Not for long, Diana. I'm the one cutting the string." My eyes flashed, concealing an undeniable trump card. I took a deep breath, keeping my expression neutral, but a plan was already forming. Ethan returned. The air was frozen solid. I sat down, my voice light. "DJ's done with the song, right, Ethan?" The dinner ended, not with a bang, but with a taut silence. After I left, Diana spoke to Harold in the kitchen, her voice strained. 20 years ago, that lawsuit almost ruined the company. "I won't let Ethan get deported, Harold. The green card is everything." Harold was silent. His eyes were sad, as if he didn't agree but wouldn't oppose her. He put the teacup down. The sound of the porcelain hitting the saucer was dry and sharp in the silent room. That was the first sign of instability in this family. At the door, I thanked Diana and Harold. My voice was even, as if nothing had happened. Diana wished me rest for tomorrow, but her tone was now laced with a new caution, like she was walking on thin ice. Outside, the cool Manhattan air hit me. My heels clicked on the pavement. The distant sound of a bus blended with my heartbeat, a prelude to the main act. I thought about what I'd heard, my eyes sharp. Green card code? You're going to pay, Diana. My phone vibrated. I got a voice note from Ethan, sent by mistake when he was drunk. Mom, Chloe will sign. She's so innocent, just wants a family. She doesn't deserve someone like me. But she's the first-class ticket, sent accidentally to the family group chat. Diana replied, "Delete now." I took a screenshot. I sat on the armchair. I played the voice note again, my finger gliding over the phone. The light from the bathroom mirror only highlighted my eyes, where hurt had just solidified into cold steel. I played the voice note one more time, my eyes blazing. "First-class ticket? You'll pay way more than that, Ethan," I muttered. I had 36 hours left. 36 hours to take down a 3.2 million empire of lies. And I had to start now. I opened my laptop. I listened to the Diana and Harold recording again, quickly scribbling, "Public breach penalty clause. If fraud is proven, the entire wedding cost is damages." I texted Daniel Carter, the immigration lawyer. "Daniel, I have fraud evidence. Prep the docs." I opened the prenup draft, inserted the small print, "Public breach, full wedding cost," and saved the file as client confidential. The laptop light illuminated my face, my eyes alight with a thirst for vengeance. I opened the London law firm email. The offer was crystal clear: 3-year project, 6-figure salary, free housing for 6 months, but the 1-year pregnancy clause. The reply deadline was 3 days away. I sat in the armchair. The desk lamp shone on my face, emphasizing the resolve in my eyes. I reread it, thinking about Ethan. We were together for a year. He was sweet, hardworking, stayed up late with his numbers, kept his promises, hated sloppiness. But he was easily swayed by Diana, often choosing silence over standing up for me. I shook my head, my eyes sharp. "You chose your mother, Ethan. I'm choosing me." But London wasn't just an escape route. It was my ultimate trump card, a clause they never saw coming in my 3-year contract. I had to make Ethan choose, green card or love. Without him knowing, I already held the secret. I pictured life in London, coffee on a corner street, an apartment with a flower-filled balcony, the clang of trams, weekends wandering along the Thames. I imagined myself in a London courtroom, my voice firm and confident, no longer burdened by Diana's gaze. But there was the flip side. Far from family, Diana's opposition, new people, a strange rhythm of life. I pulled out a notebook, dividing it into 2 columns. One side was London. Freedom, career, opportunity, night trains over Westminster Bridge. The other was NYC. The apartment near Central Park, my friends. Cozy evenings with my mom, familiar streets. Between the columns, I wrote one question. Who am I in London? Who am I here? I closed the book, turned off the light, and lay down. Sleep wouldn't come. My thoughts flowed like the Thames River, slow but relentless. I'd learned one thing. A good lawyer never attacks first. They wait for the opponent to make a mistake, then use their own lie to suffocate them. Tomorrow morning, I'll give Ethan one last chance, a chance he is absolutely destined to fail. I decided to tell Ethan about London the next morning, not as an ultimatum, but as an opportunity. He was an adult. He would choose. I wouldn't drag him along, nor would I abandon my own dream. Early the next day, I woke up. The NYC air was damp. I did a few yoga poses, cooked oatmeal, tied my hair up, and texted Ethan, "We need to talk before the ceremony, okay?" I knew the green card code was a lie, and I was going to make Ethan and Diana pay, the lawyer's way. What do you think I did next? Drop your guesses in the comments? Ethan texted back, "Sure, I'll be there in an hour." He arrived and sat next to me on the armchair in my Manhattan apartment, his eyes fixed on my tightly clasped hands. "Spill it," he said, his voice low. I took a deep breath. I got a job offer in London. 3-year project, huge salary, free housing for half a year. I wanted you to know now, I'm not leaving today, and I'm not setting conditions. I want us to decide this together. Are you willing to go? I looked him straight in the eyes. My gaze was steady and genuine, as if I was putting our entire future on the line. Ethan took the printed email, scanned the lines, and stayed silent for a long time. "You're amazing, Chloe," he said. "This is your shot. I don't want to be the guy who holds you back." He pulled me into a hug, but his fingers were frantically opening a text from Diana. "Don't let her get pregnant before the prenup is signed. Attendant had a baby. Trust fund got split, the plan's exposed." He glanced at his phone. Another text from Diana popped up. "Don't let her suspect anything. Stick to the plan." He managed a smile for me. "I'll go, my love. Mom will understand, eventually." But his eyes kept avoiding mine, his hand clutching his phone. I smiled faintly. Inside, I was freezing cold. "Perfect for whom, Ethan?" "Mom's a hard sell, but I'll convince her." "You just have to trust me, okay?" he said, holding me, his gaze distant like he was playing a part. I kept my face calm, but my heart hammered in my chest, thinking of that voice note. "She's the first-class ticket." I gave him a gentle nod. "I trust you, Ethan." But my eyes were ice cold, the lawyer's scalpel ready to cut through every lie. 2 days before the wedding, I met Daniel Carter, my immigration lawyer, at a cafe in Midtown. The lighting was dim, the air smelled faintly of espresso. I handed him the prenup draft, pointing to the public breach penalty clause. If they commit fraud, the wedding cost is the damages, millions of dollars. I scrolled through my phone. Seeing an old picture of me at 15 with my mom, I remembered whispering, "Real love, Mom." I smacked the bathroom mirror, my eyes red. "Mom, I used to believe love was enough. Now I know. It has to start with yourself." Flashback. Little Chloe tells Maggie, "I just want someone who loves me for real." Present Chloe smiled bitterly. "Now I get it. The truest love is self-love." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "You're playing hardball, Chloe," I replied, my eyes blazing. "It's just justice, Daniel." Prep the documents for immigration services. We arrived at the courthouse right on time for the signing. The bridesmaids fussed over my dress, which sparkled like the Times Square lights. Ethan's friends joked, laughing loudly. Both sets of parents stood nearby. Harold smiled warmly. Diana stood ramrod straight, her eyes colder than ice. Before the ceremony, I signed the prenup in front of Diana. I took the Mont Blanc pen, signing my name with a flourish. I paused for 1 second, looking Diana straight in the eye, giving her the most honest smile I'd ever given Ethan. I knew this smile was my final farewell to innocence. "Don't worry. Mrs. Bennett, I understand the value of this paper very well." Ethan hugged me, whispering, "Babe, Mom's worried about London, but I'll smooth things over. The prenup makes everything perfect." I nodded, my eyes sharp. "Perfect for whom, Ethan?" I gave the wedding planner another nod. "Add Dutch roses, 7-tier cake, LA DJ, Mrs. Bennett wants perfection." A cunning spark in my eye. The ceremony went smoothly. We said "I do," signed the papers, and walked out to applause and confetti. The reception was warm, the MC was a natural. Champagne bubbles and the sharp clink of glasses filled the air, but Diana's gaze pulled the mood down. Diana slipped into my dressing room, holding a copy of the prenup draft from the printer. Her eyes narrowed. "Public breach?" I quickly snatched it back. "Oh, client docs. A fake contract cancellation." "Don't worry, ma'am." Diana clenched her hand, suspicious, but nodded. In the corner of the ballroom, I secretly checked my phone, confirming the recording had been sent to Daniel. I whispered to Sam, "Tonight is the final performance, Sam." Sam laughed loudly. "Slay them, sis." During the first dance, Ethan held me gently but firmly. He whispered, "Just get pregnant within the first 6 months, the trust fund unlocks." "Mom will be happy," I replied, my voice soft yet sharp. "Did you forget?" I was clear, "I'm not ready." "You agreed, remember?" Ethan looked away. I just want what's best for us," I countered, my voice steady. "You want me to lose a $250K bonus and a 3-year project just for a verbal promise? The trust fund doesn't buy the truth, Ethan." Ethan nodded, his eyes evasive, his hand clutching mine tightly, as if hiding a heavy secret. Sam stood up, raised her glass, and said simply, "May the two of you always be honest, even if the truth hurts." During dessert, I stood near the main table, catching Diana whispering to Harold, 20 years ago, that lawsuit almost ruined the company. Ethan has to stay in the U.S., whatever the cost." Harold shook his head. "Diana, that's enough," but remained silent. Harold was silent, his eyes sad as if he disagreed. I turned away, my gaze sharp. I whispered to Sam, "They think I'm a pawn, but this chessboard is mine." After the reception, I called Daniel from the dressing room. I gripped the phone, my heart pounding, thinking, if I'm wrong about Ethan, I lose everything, love, family, all my faith. Then I shook my head, muttering, "No, the evidence doesn't lie." I pulled Ethan's visa sponsorship 2 weeks ago. He's on his own for the green card, sent it to Daniel, exactly 2 days before the signing. Immigration Services is already involved. I looked in the mirror, mumbling, "This isn't revenge, Ethan. This is justice. I choose me." The mirror light shone in my eyes, a silent declaration. Ethan took his parents home. I sorted the gifts with my friends, bringing the flowers back to the apartment. He returned exhausted, his eyes lost. "Mom flipped about London," he said, his voice sweet but fake, checking his phone as if waiting for a text from Diana. "She said I should think about my job, family, and stability. But I'll go with you, my love. Just trust me," I replied, my voice calm. "I trust you, Ethan, but I also trust myself." My eyes glowed, counting down to the final climax. I set my suitcase down. Checking the email from Eleanor Wright. "Flight next week is ready. Welcome to London." I opened my countdown app. 3 days until the wedding. 7 days until London. I smiled. The chessboard is set. I texted Sam, "I'm flying solo. Ethan handles his own green card." Sam replied, "Get him, girl!" I had already pulled the immigration form. He didn't know it. And that was the point. I was ready to flip the chessboard on their green card code. How do you think Ethan reacted when the whole scam went public? Tell me in the comments. I stood in the dressing room at the Times Square venue. My wedding dress shimmered like 1,000 diamonds under the neon lights. My phone buzzed gently, a text from Ethan. "Babe, I'm in the lobby. Mom's ready." I smiled, cold as ice, whispering to myself, "They still have no idea, Ethan." I opened my laptop, checking the final email from Daniel Carter. Docs confirmed. Immigration Services has the recording. 2 days later, at the Times Square reception, the ballroom lights hit my wedding dress like a rain of falling stars. I took the microphone. My voice was calm but razor sharp. "I want to thank Mrs. Diana Bennett, the woman who gave me a real family." I looked at Ethan, my eyes glistening with fake emotion, then continued, "And a perfect contract." The ballroom fell silent. Hundreds of affluent guests stared. I turned up the speaker. Diana's voice rang out crystal clear. "Just marry her. Ethan, the green card is everything." Ethan's voice followed immediately. "I know." "Mom!" The giant screen behind us suddenly flashed blinding white. My gorgeous wedding photo with Ethan appeared first, the beaming bride. The affectionate groom, then, superimposed over it, was the detailed wedding invoice, $3.2 million. Every line item was clearly visible. Dutch imported flowers, 7-tier cake, A-list DJ, Times Square venue. Next, a dazzling, blood-red text flashed like fresh blood. Green card code. Fraud. At the bottom, the public breach penalty clause appeared in golden text on a black background. Immigration marriage fraud constitutes full wedding cost damages. Total liability, $200,000, payable immediately. After green card code trending $1 US flashed red across the screen. The whole ballroom froze. All I heard was gasping and the frantic clicking of phone cameras. Diana shot up. Her hands shook so hard she dropped her champagne glass. The red wine spread across the white silk tablecloth like blood. Her voice was trembling but vicious. "You're making this up, Chloe." "You have no proof." I just smiled. "You forgot I'm an immigration lawyer, Mrs. Bennett. I sent Daniel Carter the Spanish recording right after dinner, 2 days ago." "Immigration Services is already waiting," Diana screamed. "When did you send it?" A guest whispered, "Did she just say green card code?" Another raised their phone, posting on X. "This wedding is literally a lawsuit." "Our green card code." An influencer held their phone high. "We're live on X, 50K viewers. Green card code is trending for 1 US. Ethan rushed forward, his voice cracking. "Chloe, stop! This is a misunderstanding. I love you." I turned, my eyes like daggers. "Love? You love your mother's green card more, Ethan. Immigration Services will show you what stability really means." Diana stepped in, pointing a shaking finger at me. "You bitch! You destroyed my family." I scoffed. "Family? You built it on lies, Mrs. Bennett. Now you pay the price." The whispering spread like wildfire. One guest yelled, "Fake green card marriage." "Holy cow!" Phones were raised high, flashbulbs popping, capturing Diana collapsing into her chair, the silk napkin falling to the floor, a symbol of her defeat. Harold stepped up, his voice low but clear. "Diana, enough. Chloe is right. I support her." The entire ballroom erupted in applause. Ethan lunged toward me, hands outstretched, trying to grab me, but he stopped short. His face was pure white, sweat beading on his forehead. I looked straight at Diana. "I pulled Ethan's sponsorship 2 weeks ago." Then I turned to Ethan. "You thought I was a first-class ticket?" "No, Ethan. You were carry-on luggage and you've just been declared lost." I turned away, not looking back at Ethan's pale, devastated face. The bright neon lights from Times Square were no longer wedding decor. They were the spotlight shining on a lawyer who had just won the greatest case of her life. Diana slumped in her chair, pale, clutching the silk napkin, her eyes wide with the panic of a dethroned queen. Ethan collapsed next to her, his gaze desperate, as if his entire world had just crashed. The hall buzzed with noise. Flashbulbs captured the moment Diana crumbled in Ethan's white face. Someone yelled, "Look! Green card code is officially trending." Friends recorded everything, posting it on X with the hashtag. Rumbling applause broke out as I walked out. My white dress sparkled under the neon glow. My heels clicked on the floor like a triumphant final statement. I slipped off the wedding ring. The cold metal left my finger. I dropped it into my clutch and walked out the door. The rhythmic sound of my high heels was a soundtrack of victory. I texted Eleanor Wright, "I'll be in London next week. Ready for the new chapter." A week later, I sat in seat 12A on a flight to London, watching NYC disappear beneath a blanket of white clouds. I opened the wedding photo album on my phone, the radiant smile, Ethan's embrace, then deleted every single photo without hesitation. The plane gently rocked over the Atlantic, wiping away all the old ties. I stood on Westminster Bridge at sunset, the golden-orange light catching my newly cut hair as the Thames wind blew. I held my wedding bouquet, the dried white roses, and gently dropped them into the river. I whispered, "Just like your promise. I get it, you don't want kids yet. It's ashes now." The wreath floated past Tower Bridge, carried away by the current. My phone buzzed, a text from Ethan. "Chloe, I'm in NYC, can we talk?" I was wrong. I deleted the text. Too late. "Your ticket expired." I video called my mom. Maggie wiped away tears, her voice choked. "You found the real love, honey. It's you." My dad nodded, his eyes warm. "You only get one life. Don't let anyone decide it for you." I got a text from an unfamiliar number. "I'm sorry. You taught me a lesson. You only get one life. Don't let anyone decide it for you. Harold." An email from Eleanor. "The green card code case landed us 3 major clients. You're leading the immigration department. 40% raise." I texted Sam. "Just closed my first big case. Turns out the green card code was the key to my London promotion." I stood on the balcony of my new apartment, sipping red wine, watching London glow under the night sky. I raised my glass toward Big Ben and said aloud, "London, this is home. NYC, thanks for teaching me how to fight. This is my game now. No more green card code." The moment my wedding dress dissolved under the Times Square spotlight, the green card code became the final, fatal blow. We witnessed a devastating betrayal, but also the ultimate rise of self-respect. Subscribe now to support stories where women choose themselves and justice over lies, so no one suffers in silence. The next story will prove that the truth is always the first-class ticket to your own life. After everything, do you think Diana and Ethan paid enough? Let me know what you think below.